What would you do if there were a serial killer on the loose and the police had a suspect, but they thought it was you? Hi, I'm Tom Jr. Jackson, and this is Something Something Chat Show with Tom Jr. Jackson presents After the Movie Review, Episode 9, Spooky October Edition, Series 2, and today's episode is Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy. But first, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, if you will. And as always, please check in the description below for the following channels and check them out and let them know that you heard about it from me, Tom Jr. Jackson. Check out the Burnett Work. The Burnett Work, hosted by Robert Meyer Burnett. Great shows like Let's Get Physical Media, Observations, Ladies of the PGS, hosted by RM and Lorena Creole. And speaking of RM, she has her own channel called Positive Fandom. And you should check that out because she has shows like Sunday Brunch Live and historical watch parties of movies that they watch. It is her and Darth Plato, and they watch a historical movie and they do a live stream about it and they talk about it, and you watch along as they discuss it. It's a fun time. Check it out. And as always, check out after the stream. After the sequels. A great channel run by friend of the channel, just like RM is a friend of the channel, Maria Espino, president and CEO of The Last Gaming Prophecy Limited, Incorporated, something like that. I can never get that part right. And she is making 3 Star Wars fan films. The first, which is being worked on as we speak, called The Chosen One. It's an animated film. And if you check out After the Sequels on YouTube, which is right below in the description, you'll see all the podcasts that deal with the makers, the actors, the writers, and whatnot. And they will tell you more about the film because what they have planned, really special and really awesome. And please check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. Start out your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday mornings with a good laugh. Check out Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster on YouTube and Facebook. And please check out morningdisaster.net for more information on how, for a mere $5, you can watch more of what they have to offer. That's Ray Lytle's Morning Disaster. Thank you. And now, on with the show. Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy came out in 1972. The basic premise is there's a serial murderer who is strangling women with a necktie, and the London police have a suspect. But the thing is, he is the wrong man. What is he? Alfred Hitchcock, who has made many, 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 many great films, such as Vertigo, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Rope, North by Northwest, which is one of my favorites, and Psycho. The master of suspense. But there's a running theme through all his movies: a man who is always wronged and tries to find a way to clear his name. And this film is not like any other film. It is a great film. Um, it was his first movie shot in Britain. Excuse me, shot in Britain since the 1956 film "The Man Who Knew Too Much," and his first shot entirely in Britain since 1950 for the movie Stage Fright. Uh, this film came out in '72, as I said, and has that '70s feel to it, late '60s, early '70s feel, and it has a certain, excuse me, time capsule feeling of that time, because that area it was shot in was an area that was about to be closed. It was shot from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Covent Garden in London, and it was shot there because um, Alfred Hitchcock's father ran a stand in that area, and he wanted to make it like a time capsule of the uh, excuse me, of the area that he remembered. And I think that's, when you can go back to something like that and you want to keep a piece of your history procured and film for, a while, a long time, that's the way to do it. Um, this is the only Alfred Hitchcock movie to carry an 18 certificate in the UK or receive an X rating after that. The X restriction age was moved from 16 to 18 in 1971. Um, this film is very much based on a book. It is based on the book. If I can find it here, I believe it is called. I'm checking my notes. That's not the name of the book. Um, I think it's Goodbye Piccadilly. Yeah, Goodbye Piccadilly and Farewell Leicester Square. Goodbye Piccadilly, Farewell Leicester Square. Um, and it's from the book, a novel by Arthur LeBaron, and like Psycho, which touched upon serial killers, sexual obsessions, and dysfunctions. This movie makes it overt, and when I mean it makes it overt, is the fact that it is the most explicit film that is violent and sexual that Alfred Hitchcock has ever made. Like, there is nudity in this film. Like, this film is downright has nudity in it, and it's alluded to that in Psycho, the shower scene, of course, and it's one of those films that is suspenseful. You really don't know if the man who they believe did it actually did it, and will he clear his name? Can he clear his name? Will people help him out? It's always dealing with the man who is on the run, the man who is having a problem with the law. And the reason for this is that when Hitchcock was a child, his father had him put into a jail cell for like an hour to teach him a lesson that bad people went to jail. And for the rest of his life, Alfred Hitchcock was always afraid of the police and always afraid of being arrested. his father stuck that in him, and that's why that that theme of the wrong man getting wronged and chased by the police and the authorities always happens. And yeah, and this is the only movie of Hitchcock's to get an R rating in the U.S. for its original theatrical release. Um, this movie, as I said, has nudity in it. There is a rape scene in it, if I may say so. So it may trigger some people. There is a trigger warning. There's a rape scene in this film. Um, I think that this film, excuse me, is one of those films that you start watching it and it's uh, excuse me, a moment in time where you, how can I put this? The movie starts off with this guy having, there's like a ceremony going on, and this guy is talking about uh this some centennial or something like that's coming up, and someone just happens to look into the ocean or the river and see a body floating in the river, and it turns out that it's a naked woman with a necktie, and there's a crowd scene in the first, and in that crowd scene, I should say, you'll see Hitchcock's cameo that he always puts in his films of himself in the film. That's his little cameo. And one of the men in the crowd goes, "Gee, I hope that's not my necktie." Uh, Not the kind of thing you want to say during a find a dead body in the water. Kind of makes you look a little guilty when you say something like that, even if it is a joke. Um, Now, I do want to say that if you're a fan of Doctor Who, there's an actor in this film, Bernard Cribbins, who played Wilfred Ma in the film, Wilf, and he's in this film. And if you're a fan of Keeping Up Appearances, the man who plays the husband of Hyacinth Bucket, he is in the film as well. Now, during the shooting of this film, Alfred Hitchcock's wife and his collaborator, Alma, had a stroke. So some of the sequences were shot without him on set so he could tend to her. And Alma was always 100% um, behind Alfred whenever he wanted to do something. She was there to help him out with the script for Psycho and whatnot. Um, the author of the book, Arthur LeBurn, later expressed his dissatisfaction with Anthony Shaffer's adaptation of his book. Although he heard negotiations were underway to film his book, the author only learned about Sir Alfred Hitchcock's involvement on reading about it in the Times in January of '71. He benefited from this movie, however, when his book was reissued as a tie-in with the title Frenzy. And to there's a scene that involves a potato truck, and to do that scene, to keep up with it, Alfred Hitchcock used index cards with the sequencing of the shots because it is a very complex scene. And the tagline for this film was Hitchcock's last masterpiece. This line would be prophetic, since this is now considered his last masterwork, produced in his canon. And now, at one point, Laurence Olivier was considered for a role in this film. And as a matter of fact, Roger Ebert, the great late Roger Ebert, loved this film, gave it 4 stars, and said it was Hitchcock's let's try that again. Hitchcock's Frenzy is a return to old forms by the master of suspense, whose newer films have pleased critics but not as public. And you know, it really is a great suspense film, because when you find out who is actually doing the murders, it's not who you think it is. And you would never go, oh, it's this guy, but not this guy. It's but it's a great film to watch. It's a film of its time. Um, the movie and its source book, Goodbye Piccadilly, Farewell Leicester Square, were inspired by the real life unsolved crimes of the serial killer known as Jack the Ripper. And unlike in the movie, the killings mirrored elements of Jack the Ripper, in that the killer attacked prostitutes, which terrified London in 1888. Which it did. It really did. It came to a time when there was a curfew because of that. Um, However, 6 months after the killing stopped, identical murders started happening in New York City. Um, and thinking about it now, it does have that quality to it, that feeling of um, Jack the Ripper. It really makes you think of that. And whereas it was never solved. The Jack the Ripper murders were never solved. This has a satisfying ending to it, which I'm not going to give away. I try not to give away endings. I try not to give away too much about a film, because I would rather you, the viewer, go see it and make your own opinion of it. And tell me, do you like the film? Did you like it? Did you not like it? It's a very interesting film, and like I said, it is his most sexually violent films. Um, and you don't expect to see nudity in a Hitchcock film, but there is. There is some humor in it, very little, because Hitchcock had a very good sense of humor. Hitchcock has such a great sense of humor that he was a huge fan of Mel Brooks's High Anxiety. Loved that film. He really loved it, to the point that he even recommended a scene in High Anxiety where the Mel Brooks character is he's running away from the bad guy. He's heading towards the ferry. He jumps onto the ferry, only to realize that the ferry was coming in instead of going out. And they were going to film it, but it cost too much money and there wasn't enough time to do it. So, yeah, it's a fantastic film, really. Check out High Anxiety too while you're at it, if you really like Hitchcockian films. Um, there's a chief inspector of the police who when he goes home, his wife is always making him dinner, but she's making him these outrageous dinners that no one normally makes at home. And it's very, very funny to see what she comes up with. It's a great scene. And it was Hitchcock's 52nd film. It was filmed from late July to mid October of 71. So that would be uh, about 53 years ago, 52, 53 years ago. Um, let's see here. I would say this. There are only two movies made during the 1970s that Hitchcock did. It was Frenzy, and the other one was Family Plot, which came out in 76. So it's almost, that movie is almost 50 years ago, 50 years old. It's hard to believe that, those, like the 70s were almost that far behind. Um, let's see here. Well, I have to say that this film, okay, so this film is featured amongst the 1001 movies you must see before you die, edited by Steven Schneider. And it really is one of those movies. And there's a great line in this movie where the man who's accused of killing says, could you, why would you think that I'd be out there killing women? Could you picture me going out there strangling women with a tie? I only have two ties. How could I be strangling all these women if I only own two ties? And it's a real case of who done it, a real case of can he get out of this? And honestly, it really is a who done it, and I think you'll highly enjoy it. And if you've never seen Frenzy, check it out. So that's the film for today, the review. I hope you enjoy it. And remember, these are just my opinions. You don't have to take them down for holy grail fact. Make up your own mind of what you think of the film. Let me know in the comment section. And I know that these reviews sometimes are not the best. And I am not a professional. I only do what I can. I try my best at doing these. So if it wasn't up to snuff, I apologize. So until next time, folks, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. All my reviews and videos are in playlists on my channel. And until next time, please remember, we are all goof people. And please be kind. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time. Don't go changing.